Hello, I'm Serena. What you're about to hear is a fictional story, best experienced without hurry. Just listen. I'll be here with you.
They say that mirrors show us who we really are. But what happens when the person looking back isn't you anymore? When the reflection stops following your movements, stops being a copy, and starts being something else entirely? This is the story of Dr. Amelia Grant, a psychiatrist who specialized in treating dissociative disorders. She thought she understood the human mind. She thought she knew where consciousness ended and delusion began. She was wrong. It's October 8th, and Dr. Grant has just admitted a patient who will change everything she believes about reality, identity, and the thin line between sanity and madness. The patient's name is Claire Hoffman, or at least, that's what she claims. Chapter 1. Intake. The intake form sat on Dr. Grant's desk, and every line on it was wrong. Name: Claire Hoffman. Age 28. Admission date: October 8th. Chief complaint: I am not the person in the mirror. That last line was what had caught Amelia's attention. Not unusual for a dissociative disorder, patients often felt disconnected from their reflection, from their body, from themselves. But there was something about the phrasing that felt different. Not, I don't recognize myself, or I don't feel like myself, but I am not the person in the mirror, as if the mirror person was someone else entirely. Amelia closed the file and stood, straightening her white coat. She'd been a psychiatrist for 12 years, running the residential program at Ashwood Psychiatric Hospital. For the last 5, she'd seen every variation of dissociative disorder, every flavor of psychosis, every possible way the human mind could fracture under stress. This would be no different. The interview room was on the 3rd floor, a comfortable space designed to feel less institutional than the rest of the hospital. Soft lighting, upholstered chairs, a small table with a box of tissues, and yes, a mirror one-way glass, actually, allowing observers to watch sessions without being seen. Amelia had always found it ironic that they used mirrors to observe people with distorted self-perception. But the research showed that patients often behaved more naturally when they couldn't see the observers directly. Claire Hoffman was already in the room when Amelia entered. She sat in the patient chair, hands folded in her lap, staring at the one-way mirror with an intensity that was almost unsettling. Ms. Hoffman, Amelia said gently, I'm Dr. Grant. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me. Claire didn't look away from the mirror. She's watching me, she said. Her voice was flat, emotionless. She's always watching me. Amelia sat down in the therapist's chair and pulled out her notepad. Who is watching you? The one in the mirror, Claire said. The one who looks like me but isn't me. The one who's been stealing my life. Classic Capgras delusion, Amelia thought. The belief that someone, usually a loved one, had been replaced by an identical imposter. Except Claire believed the imposter was her own reflection. Can you tell me when you first noticed this? Amelia asked. Claire finally turned away from the mirror to look at Amelia. Her eyes were dark, with deep circles underneath that suggested weeks of poor sleep. But they were also sharp, focused, not the glazed or scattered look Amelia associated with active psychosis. 3 months ago, Claire said, July 8th, I was brushing my teeth before bed. Normal routine. I looked in the bathroom mirror, and for just a second, my reflection didn't move when I moved. It just stood there, staring at me. Then it smiled, even though I wasn't smiling, and I knew what? That something had gotten inside, that it was wearing my face, learning to be me. Amelia made notes. Have you experienced this with all mirrors, or just that one bathroom mirror? All of them, Claire said. Every mirror, every reflective surface, windows, phone screens, even puddles when it rains. Everywhere I look, she's there, watching, copying, getting better at pretending to be me. And what do you think this other person wants? Claire leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. To replace me, completely. She's been practicing my life, learning my habits, my gestures, my voice, and every day, I feel like there's less of me and more of her. Like she's not just in the mirror anymore. She's inside my head, taking over. Amelia kept her expression neutral, but she was already forming a preliminary diagnosis. Dissociative identity disorder with persecutory delusions, possibly triggered by trauma. She'd need to explore Claire's history more thoroughly. Claire, I want to help you, Amelia said, but I need you to be honest with me. Have you experienced any recent trauma, any major life changes or stressors? Claire was quiet for a long moment. Then, my sister died, 6 months ago. Car accident. We were twins, and there it was, the trigger. Survivor's guilt manifesting as a precipitory delusion about being replaced. Claire's mind couldn't process the loss of her identical twin, so it had created a narrative where the twin was somehow still present, living in mirrors, trying to take over Claire's identity. "I'm so sorry for your loss," Amelia said. "That must have been incredibly difficult." "You don't believe me," Claire said. "It wasn't a question. You think I'm crazy, that this is all grief-induced delusion. I think you're experiencing something very real and very frightening," Amelia said carefully, "and I want to help you understand it and manage it." Claire stood abruptly. "I knew this was a waste of time. You're just like the other doctors. You want to drug me, tell me I'm imagining things, send me home. But I'm not imagining this. She's real. And if I go home, she'll finish what she started." "Claire, please sit down. Look at the mirror," Claire said, pointing at the one-way glass. "Look at her. Can't you see? She's not copying me right now. She's moving on her own." Amelia looked at the mirror. She saw only Claire's reflection, moving exactly as Claire moved, arms extended, finger pointing. "I see your reflection moving with you," Amelia said. "No," Claire insisted. "Watch her eyes. She's looking at you, not at me. She's curious about you, wondering if you're a threat." Amelia stood and moved closer to Claire, trying to de-escalate. "I understand you're afraid. Fear is a valid emotion, and I'm not dismissing what you're experiencing. But right now, I need you to work with me. We can figure this out together, but only if you're willing to engage in treatment." Claire lowered her arm slowly. "Fine," she said. "But when she comes for you too, don't say I didn't warn you." She sat back down, and Amelia resumed the interview. They talked for another 45 minutes about Claire's childhood, her relationship with her twin sister, her work as a graphic designer, her social isolation since the accident. Everything pointed to a clear clinical picture: grief, trauma, dissociation, treatable with therapy and medication. But as Amelia was wrapping up the session, Claire said something that stayed with her. "Dr. Grant, do you ever wonder if you're really you? If the person you see in the mirror is actually the real one, and you're just the reflection?" "That's a philosophical question," Amelia said. "But no, I don't wonder that." Claire smiled sadly. "You will. Once she's noticed you, you will." After Claire was escorted back to her room, Amelia stood alone in the interview room, looking at the one-way mirror. Her own reflection stared back, professional, composed, in control. Just a reflection, nothing more. But for just a moment, Amelia could have sworn she saw her reflection blink when she hadn't. She shook her head and left the room, dismissing it as suggestion, as Claire's delusions temporarily affecting her own perception. She didn't see her reflection turn to watch her leave, or the smile that crossed its face when she was gone. Chapter 2. The spread. Over the next 3 days, Amelia met with Claire twice daily. The sessions followed a predictable pattern. Claire would insist the mirror person was real, was getting stronger, was preparing to take over completely. Amelia would guide the conversation toward processing grief, exploring trauma, building coping mechanisms. But Claire never wavered, never showed the inconsistency or confusion typical of delusions. She was absolutely certain of her reality, and nothing Amelia said could shake that certainty. On the 4th day, something changed. Amelia arrived at the hospital to find 3 new patients on her ward, all admitted overnight, all presenting with the same chief complaint: "I am not the person in the mirror." Amelia sat in her office, reviewing their intake forms with growing unease. The patients had no connection to Claire, no connection to each other. Different ages, different backgrounds, different admission sources, but all 3 reported the same experience. Their reflection had begun moving independently, had begun watching them, had begun trying to replace them. Her colleague, Dr. James Park, knocked on her open door. "Amelia, you got a minute?" "Of course." She gestured to the chair across from her desk. James sat, looking uncomfortable. "I wanted to talk to you about the Claire Hoffman case. I've been observing some of your sessions through the mirror, and I think we need to consider alternative diagnoses. Her presentation doesn't quite fit classic dissociative disorder. There's no memory loss, no time gaps, no sense of having multiple identities, just this single fixed delusion about the mirror." "I'm aware," Amelia said. "I'm thinking it's more of a delusional disorder, possibly with somatic features. The belief is specific and contained." "Right, but that's the thing." James leaned forward. "I don't think it's a delusion." Amelia blinked. "Excuse me, I know how that sounds," James said quickly. But hear me out. When I was observing yesterday's session, I recorded it, standard practice, right? For review. But when I watched the recording, I noticed something. He pulled out his tablet and opened a video file. Amelia watched herself conducting the session with Claire. Everything looked normal, questions and answers, note-taking, therapeutic rapport building. Watch Claire's reflection in the mirror, James said, pointing at the screen. And watch it carefully. Amelia focused on the reflected image. For several seconds, nothing seemed unusual. Then Claire turned her head to the right, responding to something Amelia had said. Her reflection's head turned a fraction of a second late. That's just video lag, Amelia said. Frame rate issues. That's what I thought, James said. So I checked the times. The video is running at 60 frames per second. There shouldn't be any noticeable lag, and yet, he played it again in slow motion. The delay was unmistakable. Claire moved, then her reflection followed, like a puppet on strings, slightly out of sync with its puppeteer. That's impossible, Amelia said. I know. So I checked the other recordings. Every session you've had with Claire, the delay is getting longer. In the first session, it was maybe a tenth of a second. By yesterday, it was almost a full second. Her reflection is falling behind. Amelia stared at the screen, her mind racing through explanations. Technical glitch, optical illusion, confirmation bias after being exposed to Claire's delusion. This doesn't mean her delusion is real, Amelia said firmly. It means there's something wrong with the video equipment, or with our perception after being primed to look for anomalies. Maybe, James said. But what about the other 3 patients? Same complaint, no exposure to Claire. No way they could have coordinated this. That's not how mass delusions work. Mass delusions require social connection, shared context. These patients have none. Then it's environmental, Amelia said. Something in the hospital, medication side effects, toxic exposure. I don't know, but there's a rational explanation. James stood. I hope you're right, but Amelia, maybe avoid mirrors for a while, just in case. He left, and Amelia sat alone in her office, troubled. She pulled up the admission records for the 3 new patients and started looking for commonalities. Patient 1, Mark Delgado, age 42, accountant, no psychiatric history, admitted by wife after 3 days of insisting his reflection was wrong. Patient 2, Lisa Chen, age 35, teacher, history of anxiety, admitted herself after experiencing what she called mirror possession. Patient 3, David Brooks, age 51, lawyer, no psychiatric history, admitted by partner after attempting to smash every mirror in their home. No obvious connections, no shared demographics or backgrounds or risk factors, but they all had one thing in common. They'd all visited Ashwood Hospital in the past week. Mark for a routine physical, Lisa for a counseling appointment, David to visit a friend who was a patient. They'd all been in the building. Amelia closed the files and looked at the mirror on her office wall. It was small, decorative, something she used to check her appearance before important meetings. She'd had it for years and never thought twice about it. Now she stood and approached it slowly. Her reflection appeared normal, moving when she moved, matching her expressions. Nothing unusual. But when she turned to walk away, she caught a glimpse of movement in the peripheral of the mirror. Her reflection, still standing there, still watching. Amelia spun around. Her reflection was in the proper position now, turned away just as she was. Suggestion, paranoia. Claire's delusion was contagious, in the same way that talking about yawning makes people yawn. Amelia was a psychiatrist. She knew about the power of suggestion. She grabbed her coat and left her office, deliberately not looking back at the mirror. Behind her, unobserved, her reflection slowly turned its head to track her departure. Chapter 3. The Theory. By day 6, Ashwood Hospital had 15 patients presenting with mirror-related delusions. The administration was in crisis mode, calling in specialists from the CDC to test for environmental toxins, bringing in neurologists to scan for brain abnormalities, convening emergency meetings to discuss quarantine protocols. But all tests came back negative. No toxins, no infections, no neurological damage. The patients were simply, inexplicably, convinced that their reflections were independent entities trying to replace them, and the delusion was spreading. Amelia spent the day interviewing patients, looking for the pattern that would make sense of this outbreak. She'd dealt with mass psychogenic illness before, groups of people developing identical symptoms with no organic cause, usually triggered by stress or shared trauma. But this didn't fit the profile. The patients had no shared stressor, no common trauma, no social connection that would facilitate mass hysteria. By evening, Amelia was exhausted. She retreated to the staff break room on the 4th floor, hoping for a few minutes of peace to think. Claire was there. She sat alone at a table, hands wrapped around a cup of coffee, staring out the window at the darkening sky. Patients weren't usually allowed in the staff break room, but the hospital was so chaotic now that normal protocols had broken down. "Claire," Amelia said, "you shouldn't be here." Claire looked up. "I know, but I needed to talk to you, and I knew you'd avoid me if I requested a session." She was right. Amelia had been reassigning Claire's care to other doctors, uncomfortable with how the case was affecting her own perception. "What do you need to talk about?" Amelia asked. "I need you to believe me," Claire said, "because it's not just happening to me anymore. It's happening to everyone in this building. And if we don't stop it, it's going to spread beyond these walls." Amelia sat down across from her. "Claire, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help all of you. But I need you to work with me in the framework of reality." "This is reality," Claire interrupted. "Dr. Grant, have you looked at yourself in a mirror today?" "No," Amelia admitted. "Good, don't. Because if you do, you'll see what I see, what all of us see. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. See what—" Claire leaned closer, her voice dropping. "That you're fading, that something else is getting stronger, that the reflection isn't a reflection anymore, it's a doorway, and something is coming through. A doorway to where? I don't know. Somewhere else. Somewhere that wants to be here. And it's using us as the gateway." Amelia rubbed her temples, fighting off a headache. "Claire, that's not how reality works. Mirrors are just light reflection. There's no somewhere else behind them." "Then explain the videos," Claire said. "Dr. Park showed me. The delay in my reflection. That's not normal. That's not physics. That's something else. Technical glitch on every camera in this hospital. Every recording device. All developing the same glitch at the same time." Claire shook her head. "You're smarter than that, Dr. Grant. You know something's wrong. You just don't want to admit it because it breaks your understanding of how the world works." Amelia was quiet for a moment. "Then, let's say, hypothetically, that you're right, that something is happening with mirrors. What would you have me do about it?" Claire pulled a folded piece of paper from her pocket and slid it across the table. "I've been researching hospital library, internet when I could access it, looking for any similar cases in history." Amelia unfolded the paper. It was a printed article from an obscure academic journal, dated 1996. The title, "Mass Mirror Delusion in Victorian England, a Case Study of Failure Placios." She skimmed the abstract. In 1892, a boarding school in London had experienced an outbreak of what they called mirror madness. 23 students and 7 teachers had developed the belief that their reflections were separate entities. The school had been closed, the mirrors removed and destroyed. The delusions had stopped immediately. "The mirrors were destroyed," Claire said. "That's how they stopped it. They broke every mirror in the building, and the symptoms resolved within 48 hours. Correlation, not causation," Amelia said. "Removing the mirrors removed the trigger for the delusion, allowing recovery. That doesn't mean the mirrors themselves were the problem. There's more," Claire said. "Look at the case notes at the end." Amelia flipped to the last page. There, in small print, was a note from the investigating physician. "Before the mirrors were destroyed, I observed them myself. I admit, to my shame, that I too saw the anomaly the patients reported. The reflections did not move in perfect synchrony with their subjects. There was a delay, subtle but measurable, as if the reflected world lagged slightly behind our own. I have no scientific explanation for this phenomenon and can only report what I observed." The note was signed, Dr. Edmund Hartley, November 18, 1892. Amelia set down the paper. "Even if this is true, and that's a big if, what am I supposed to do? Convince the hospital administration to destroy every mirror in the building based on a 100-year-old case study?" "Yes," Claire said simply, "because if you don't, whatever is coming through is going to finish crossing over, and I don't think any of us will survive that." "Why do you say that?" Claire's expression was haunted. "Because I've seen what happens at the end. In dreams, or visions, or whatever they are. I see myself standing in front of a mirror, and my reflection steps out, steps through the glass like it's just water. And when it touches me," she shuddered, unable to continue. "What happens?" Amelia asked softly. We merge, or it consumes me, or I disappear into the mirror and it takes my place. I don't know exactly, but I know that I stop existing as myself, and only the reflection remains. And it's not me anymore. It's something wearing my skin. Amelia wanted to dismiss this as paranoid delusion, but she couldn't shake the memory of her own reflection's delayed blink. The sense that something was watching her from every reflective surface. I'll look into it, Amelia said. I'll review the evidence, talk to the administration, see what can be done. Don't wait too long, Claire said. It's accelerating, I can feel it. We're running out of time. That night, alone in her office, Amelia made a decision. She pulled the decorative mirror off her wall and set it face down on her desk. Then she pulled up the security footage from the past week. She watched herself working, saw herself moving through the hospital corridors, watched recordings of her sessions with patients, and in every single video, in every single mirror or reflective surface that caught her image, she saw the same thing. Her reflection moving just slightly out of sync, a delay that was getting longer with each passing day. Amelia's hands shook as she closed the laptop. She knew what she had to do, knew it would sound insane, knew she'd risk her career and reputation. But if Claire was right, if they were all right, then the alternative was worse. She picked up her phone and called the hospital director. "This is Dr. Grant," she said. "I need to request an emergency meeting about the mirror delusion outbreak. I have a proposal that you're not going to like." Chapter 4. The breach. The meeting was a disaster. Amelia presented her findings, the Victorian case study, the video evidence, the consistent reports from 15 patients about reflections moving independently. She proposed a controlled experiment, remove all mirrors from one wing of the hospital and monitor whether patients' symptoms improved. The director listened politely, then said, "Dr. Grant, I appreciate your thoroughness, but what you're proposing is based on pseudoscience and mass hysteria. We're not going to renovate the hospital based on a 100-year-old report and some video artifacts. The delay in the recordings is measurable," Amelia insisted. "It's consistent across multiple cameras, multiple mirrors. That's not artifact, that's data. Data that contradicts the laws of physics," the director said. "Reflections don't have independent movement. What you're seeing is either technical glitch or confirmation bias. We've already consulted with it. They're investigating the camera systems." Dr. Park spoke up. "Sir, I've reviewed the footage myself. Whatever the explanation, something anomalous is happening, and the outbreak is getting worse. We now have 23 patients with identical presentations. That's unprecedented, which is why we've brought in infectious disease specialists," the director said. "They're testing for prions, for novel pathogens, for anything that might affect brain function. But I'm not authorizing the removal of mirrors based on what amounts to superstition." The meeting ended with no resolution. Amelia returned to her office feeling defeated. Outside her window, darkness had fallen. The city lights reflected in the glass, creating a mirror-like surface. She could see herself in the window, see her reflection sitting at the desk, head in hands. Except she wasn't sitting anymore. She was standing by the window. Amelia's head snapped up. She was indeed standing by the window, looking out. But in the reflection, she saw herself still sitting at the desk, watching her. For several long seconds, Amelia and her reflection stared at each other across the boundary of the glass. Two versions of the same person, no longer synchronized. Then the reflection smiled. Amelia stumbled backward, her heart hammering. She grabbed her phone and ran from the office, not looking back. She found James in the break room. "It's happening to me," she said without preamble. "The reflection, I just saw it. It's not matching my movements anymore." James set down his coffee. "Then you know, Claire's right. We all know. Everyone who's been exposed long enough, the reflections are becoming independent. Why isn't anyone listening?" Amelia asked. "Why won't the administration take this seriously?" "Because the ones who haven't experienced it themselves can't conceive of it being real. It's outside their framework of possible phenomena, and the ones who have experienced it," James trailed off. "What? They're in denial, or they've already been replaced." Amelia stared at him. "What do you mean, replaced?" James pulled out his tablet and opened a video file. "I've been monitoring the patients. Look at this." The video showed Mark Delgado, the accountant, one of the first 3 patients admitted with mirror delusions. He sat in his room, rocking back and forth, muttering to himself. The timestamp showed this was from 3 days ago. James fast-forwarded to a video from this morning. The same room, the same patient, but Mark sat perfectly still, perfectly calm. No rocking, no muttering. When a nurse entered to bring medication, Mark smiled pleasantly and took the pills without protest. "He seems better," Amelia said. "He's not better," James said. "He's different. Watch his eyes." Amelia looked closer. Mark's eyes were flat, expressionless, even while he smiled. The smile didn't reach his eyes. It was a mask, a performance of normalcy. "I interviewed him yesterday," James said. "Asked him about his mirror delusions. He said they were gone, that he'd been confused, that he felt fine now. But when I asked him personal questions, his wife's name, his children's names, his occupation, he had to think about it, hesitated, like he was remembering information rather than simply knowing it. You think his reflection replaced him? I think whatever is coming through the mirrors is learning to be us, and when it learns enough, it completes the replacement." Amelia felt cold spreading through her chest. How many of the 23 patients? At least 7 show this pattern. Sudden improvement, flat effect, memory hesitation. 7 people who might not be people anymore. And staff. James was quiet. "James, how many staff?" "I don't know," he admitted. "I've been trying to track it, but it's hard to tell. People act slightly off, but that could just be stress from the outbreak. Or it could be replacement." Amelia finished. They sat in silence, the implications washing over them. If this was real, if reflections were truly becoming independent and replacing their originals, then the hospital was already compromised. Already filling up with copies, with imposters wearing familiar faces. Amelia's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "3rd floor bathroom. Come alone, Claire." "I have to go," Amelia said. "Where?" "Claire wants to meet." "Alone?" James grabbed her arm. "That might not be Claire. It might be her reflection, luring you into a trap." "Then I guess I'll find out," Amelia said. She pulled free and headed for the stairs. The 3rd floor bathroom was empty when she arrived. Amelia checked the stalls, all vacant. She was about to leave when she heard a voice from the ceiling. "Up here." Amelia looked up. The ceiling had a maintenance access panel, partially open. Claire's face appeared in the gap. "Climb up," Claire said, quickly. "Why are we hiding in the ceiling?" "Because the mirrors can't see us here. There's no reflective surfaces." "Come on, I'll explain everything." Amelia climbed onto the sink and pulled herself up through the access panel with Claire's help. The space above the ceiling was cramped, dark, filled with ductwork and cables. Claire had a flashlight and led the way through the narrow crawl space. "Where are we going?" Amelia asked. "Somewhere safe. Somewhere I've been preparing." They crawled for several minutes before emerging into a larger space, a mechanical room that housed HVAC equipment. Claire had set up a makeshift camp here. Blankets, bottled water, a battery-powered lantern, and on the walls, she'd taped up dozens of pages covered in handwriting and diagrams. "What is all this?" Amelia asked. "Research," Claire said. "Everything I've learned about what's happening, it's not just random. There's a pattern, a purpose." She pointed to a timeline on the wall. The Victorian outbreak happened during a specific astronomical event, a solar eclipse. The next major outbreak was in 1968, during another eclipse. Then nothing for decades, until now. "There's no eclipse happening now," Amelia said. "Not solar, lunar. Tomorrow night, a total lunar eclipse. Visible from here, the longest eclipse in 50 years. Claire moved to another wall covered in geometric diagrams. "The mirrors aren't just reflective surfaces, they're boundaries. Membranes between our world and somewhere else. Usually, that boundary is solid, but during certain astronomical events, when the Earth's shadow crosses the moon, something changes. The boundary becomes permeable." "That's not science," Amelia said. "That's mysticism, is it? You've seen the evidence. You know something impossible is happening. Maybe the explanation is also impossible." Amelia studied the diagrams. They showed mirrors arranged in patterns, geometric configurations that supposedly enhanced or diminished the permeability Claire was describing. "Even if this is true," Amelia said, "what do we do about it?" Claire pointed to a map of the hospital. She'd marked every mirror location with red X's. "We have until tomorrow night's eclipse. After that, the boundary will be open enough for complete transfer. The reflections will step through en masse and replace everyone. But if we can disrupt the pattern, break the geometric configuration, we can stop it." "How?" "By destroying the mirrors. Not all of them, just enough to break the pattern. The hospital's mirrors are arranged in a specific configuration, probably unintentionally. but it's perfect for what's trying to come through. If we destroy the key mirrors, the ones at the pattern's nodes, we can collapse the whole structure. She showed Amelia a list of 7 mirrors: the one-way glass in the interview room, the lobby mirror, the bathroom mirrors on floors 3 and 5, the mirrors in the director's office and the cafeteria, and one more in the basement storage area. These 7, Amelia asked. These 7 are the anchors. Destroy them, and the pattern fails. The boundary closes. The reflections lose their connection to our world, and the people who've already been replaced. Claire's expression was grim. I don't know. Maybe they come back. Maybe they're already gone. But if we don't do this, everyone gets replaced. The entire hospital. Then the reflections leave here and spread to the rest of the world. Amelia looked at the map, the diagrams, the desperate research of a woman everyone thought was delusional. A week ago, she would have diagnosed Claire with elaborate paranoid psychosis and recommended intensive treatment. Now, she was considering whether to commit vandalism based on Claire's theory about mystical mirror boundaries. How do you know all this? Amelia asked. The patterns, the astronomical connections, the geometry. Claire smiled sadly. My sister, before she died, she was a physicist specializing in quantum mechanics and parallel worlds. She'd been researching theoretical boundaries between dimensions. When I started seeing the mirror anomalies, I looked through her notes, found her research. She'd been tracking these eclipse events, documenting historical reports of mirror phenomena. She knew something was coming. Did she know it would happen to you? I think she was trying to warn me. The accident that killed her. It wasn't an accident. She drove her car into a lake, deliberately left a note that said only, "Don't look in mirrors. Don't let them see you." I thought she'd lost her mind, but she was trying to protect me, trying to keep me from being noticed by whatever lives on the other side. And instead, her death triggered your symptoms. Not triggered, exposed. I was already infected, already being copied. Her death just made me aware of it. Amelia sat down on a crate, processing everything. Outside this hidden room, the hospital continued its normal functions. Patients slept. Staff worked. No one knew that beneath the ordinary surface, something was trying to break through into reality. All right, Amelia said. Let's say I believe you. Let's say I'm willing to help. How do we destroy 7 mirrors without being stopped by security or staff who've already been replaced? Claire pulled out a backpack and opened it. Inside were hammers, small crowbars, and bottles of acid. We do it fast, she said. During the shift change tomorrow evening, when the hospital is most chaotic, we split up, each take different mirrors, and destroy them simultaneously. No time for anyone to stop us all. That's not much of a plan. It's the only plan we have, unless you have a better idea. Amelia didn't, and time was running out. I'll help, she said. But we need to be smart about this. We need backup. People we can trust. How do you know who to trust? How do you know who's still human? It was a good question, and Amelia didn't have a good answer. But tomorrow night, during the longest lunar eclipse in 50 years, they would find out. Chapter 5. The eclipse the next day passed with excruciating slowness. Amelia went through the motions of her normal duties, seeing patients, attending meetings, all while hyper-aware of every reflective surface around her. And everywhere she looked, she saw herself, watching, waiting. By afternoon, she'd recruited 2 allies, James, who'd been documenting the anomalies from the beginning, and Lisa Chen, one of the patients who'd maintained her awareness despite the spreading replacements. Lisa had been a high school chemistry teacher before her admission. She knew how to handle the acid safely. They met in Claire's hidden mechanical room at 6 p.m. Outside, twilight was falling. The eclipse would begin at 8:47 p.m. and reach totality at 9:33 p.m. We have to move during totality, Claire said. That's when the boundary will be thinnest, but also when the reflections will be most focused on completing the crossing. They'll be distracted, trying to push through. That's our window. She distributed the tools, hammers, acid, safety equipment. Remember, 7 mirrors, 7 of us. We each take one, destroy it at exactly 9:33 p.m. Then retreat to this room. No mirrors here. We'll be safe. There are only 4 of us, Amelia pointed out. I recruited 3 more, Claire said. Patients I trust. People who've stayed aware. They're waiting at their assigned locations. Amelia didn't like involving patients in what was essentially a criminal act, but they were running out of options. At 9 p.m. they separated. Amelia took the interview room, mirrored the one-way glass, where this had all started. She stood outside the room, hammer in hand, waiting for the appointed time. 9:15, the hospital was quiet. Most patients in their rooms for the night. Through the window, Amelia could see the moon beginning to darken as Earth's shadow crossed it. 9:30. The moon was blood red now, barely visible in the sky. 9:33. Amelia opened the interview room door and strode to the one-way mirror. In the glass, she saw herself, but the reflection was different now. Sharper, more defined, more real than she felt. The reflection smiled and raised a hand, as if to wave. Amelia swung the hammer. The mirror shattered in a burst of glass shards, but instead of just breaking, the glass seemed to scream a high-pitched wail that wasn't quite sound, more like pressure in her ears. And behind the broken glass, in the space where the mirror had been, Amelia glimpsed something. A place that wasn't the observation room behind the glass. A vast space, filled with movement, with shapes that might have been human but weren't quite. The reflection's world. Amelia staggered back as more glass fell, exposing the wall behind it. The glimpse of the other world vanished, leaving just broken mirror fragments on the floor. Her phone buzzed. A text from James. Done. Get to safe room. Then Lisa. Mirror destroyed. Coming back. Then Claire. 3 down, 4 to go. But the other 3 didn't report. The patients Claire had recruited. No messages, no confirmation. Amelia ran through the hallways toward the mechanical room. The hospital lights flickered, and she heard sounds she couldn't identify. Whispers, movements, the sense of something wrong spreading through the building. She reached the 3rd floor and nearly collided with James. He was pale, shaking. What happened? Amelia asked. I saw them, James said. The reflections. When I broke the cafeteria mirror, I saw them all on the other side. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands, all trying to push through, all wearing familiar faces. They ran together toward the bathroom where the access panel to the mechanical room was located. Lisa was already there, climbing up. They followed her into the crawl space and made their way back to the hidden room. Claire was there, along with one of the patients, a young man named Tom, who'd been assigned the basement mirror. Where are the others? Amelia asked. Sarah and Michael. Tom shook his head. Michael's mirror was already gone when I got there, removed from the wall. And Sarah, I saw her at her location, but she didn't respond when I called to her, just stared at me with empty eyes. They got her, Claire said quietly, replaced her before she could destroy the mirror, and they removed Michael's target to protect the pattern. So we only destroyed 5 mirrors, Amelia said. Not 7. The pattern is still intact. Not intact, Claire said. Weakened. Look, she pointed to her laptop, which showed security camera feeds from around the hospital. The images were distorted, flickering, showing impossible things. People walking through walls, corridors that led nowhere, rooms that contained spaces too large to fit within the building's structure. Reality is breaking down, Claire said. The boundary is collapsing, but incompletely. We damaged the pattern enough to destabilize it, but not enough to close it. Now it's tearing. And I don't know what happens when a tier between worlds isn't closed properly. As if in answer, the mechanical room's lights went out. In the darkness, Amelia heard something moving in the crawl space. Multiple somethings, crawling toward them. James turned on his flashlight. The beam caught movement at the entrance to the room, figures pulling themselves through the access panel. Their faces were familiar. Hospital staff, patients, people Amelia recognized. But their eyes were wrong. Flat, empty. They found us, Lisa whispered. The eclipse isn't over yet, Claire said, checking her watch. We still have 12 minutes until the moon exits Earth's shadow. If we can destroy the remaining 2 mirrors before then, where are they? Amelia asked. Director's office and the 5th floor bathroom. But they'll be guarded now. They know what we're trying to do. The replaced people were entering the room now, moving slowly, deliberately. Not threatening yet, but blocking the exit. We're trapped, Tom said. Amelia looked around desperately. The mechanical room had vents, ductwork, pipes running in all directions, and high on one wall, a small window that overlooked the hospital's interior courtyard. There, she said, pointing. We can climb down the outside, get to the director's office through the emergency stairs. That's a 3-story drop if we fall, James said. Better than staying here. They didn't have time to argue. The replaced people were getting closer, hands reaching out. Claire used a crowbar to smash open the window, while the others held back the advancing figures. One by one, they climbed out onto the narrow ledge outside the window. The night air was cold, the eclipse making the darkness almost total. Below, the courtyard was barely visible. There was a drain pipe attached to the building, not designed for climbing, but it was their only option. Tom went first, testing the pipe's stability, then starting the careful descent. Above them, the replaced people reached the window and began climbing out. Amelia followed Tom down, her hands gripping the cold metal, her feet searching for purchase on the brackets. She didn't look up, didn't look down, just focused on the next handhold, the next step. She was halfway down when the drain pipe groaned and shifted. "It's coming loose," Tom called from below. "Keep going," Claire shouted from above. The pipe pulled away from the wall with a screech of tearing metal. Amelia felt herself falling and grabbed desperately for the building's facade. Her fingers found a windowsill, and she hung there, legs dangling, as the drain pipe crashed to the courtyard below. Tom had made it down safely. He looked up at Amelia, helpless to assist from the ground. Above, the replaced people were descending, moving with unnatural agility, not bothered by the missing drain pipe. They crawled down the building's wall like insects. James reached Amelia and grabbed her wrist. "I've got you. Climb up." Together, they pulled Amelia back to the window ledge. Lisa and Claire were still there, fighting off the replaced people, using tools from Claire's backpack as weapons. "We can't go down," James said. "We have to go up." They climbed up the outside of the building, using windows and ledges and architectural features, heading for the roof. The replaced people followed, tireless and patient. Amelia's arms burned with effort. Her fingers bled from gripping rough concrete. But she kept climbing, because the alternative was being caught, replaced, erased. They reached the roof as the eclipse began to wane. The moon's edge was emerging from shadow, bright silver cutting through the blood-red darkness. 7 minutes, Claire gasped, checking her watch. "We have 7 minutes to destroy the last 2 mirrors, or the boundary stays open forever." The director's office was 6 floors below them. The 5th floor bathroom was 1 floor below. "We split up," Amelia said. "Claire and Lisa take the bathroom. James and I will take the office. Tom, stay here and keep the roof access blocked. Don't let them follow us down." "What about getting back?" Tom asked. "We'll figure that out if we survive." They ran for the roof access door. Tom held it open long enough for them to get through, then barricaded it with a heavy piece of equipment. Amelia and James took the stairs down while Claire and Lisa headed for the 5th floor. The stairwell was empty, echoing with their footsteps. But Amelia could hear other sounds below, movement, whispers, the building itself seeming to shift and groan. They reached the 6th floor and burst into the hallway. The director's office was at the far end. They ran toward it, passing rooms where patients and staff watched from doorways with flat, empty eyes. The office door was locked. James kicked it open, and they tumbled inside. The director was there, sitting at his desk, watching them with those same empty eyes. "You can't stop it," he said in a voice that was almost his, but not quite. "The crossing is inevitable. We've been coming for so long, waiting for so long. This world is better than ours, brighter, more alive. We deserve to be here." "You're stealing people's lives," Amelia said. "We're becoming them. Isn't that beautiful? Perfect copies, perfect replacements. No one will ever know the difference." James raised his hammer. "Where's the mirror?" The director smiled and gestured to the wall. A large decorative mirror hung behind his desk, an antique, probably worth thousands, ornately framed. James approached it, but the director moved to block him. "I can't let you destroy it. You can't stop me," James said. "No, but they can." The office door burst open. Dozens of replaced people poured in, grabbing James and Amelia, pulling them away from the mirror. Strong hands, cold skin, empty eyes. Amelia struggled, but there were too many. She watched helplessly as James was dragged to the floor. The hammer knocked from his hand. The director picked up the hammer and examined it. Such crude tools, such primitive methods. "Did you really think you could fight something that's been planning this for eons?" "We damaged your pattern," Amelia said. 5 mirrors destroyed. "You're weakened, yes, but not defeated. The boundary is still open. And in 3 minutes, the eclipse ends and the opening becomes permanent." Amelia looked desperately around the office. There had to be something she could use, some way to reach the mirror. Her eyes fell on the director's desk, a heavy mahogany piece covered in papers, a laptop, a coffee mug, and a letter opener. The letter opener, it was metal, sharp, maybe 8 inches long, not much of a weapon, but better than nothing. Amelia twisted in her captor's grip and kicked backward, connecting with someone's knee. The grip loosened for just a second, long enough for her to lunge forward and grab the letter opener. She spun and drove it toward the mirror, throwing it like a dart. It hit the glass dead center. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a crack appeared, spreading outward from the impact point, branching and rebranching like lightning frozen in glass. The director screamed, actually screamed, a sound of genuine emotion, of fear and rage. The mirror shattered. But unlike the others, this one didn't just break. The fragments seemed to dissolve, turning to liquid that ran down the wall and disappeared. And through the space where the mirror had been, Amelia saw that other world again, but this time it was collapsing, folding in on itself. The shapes that had been pressing against the boundary were being pulled backward, sucked into vanishing distances. The replaced people in the office began to scream. Not words, just noise, terrible, inhuman sounds of loss and defeat. And then they simply stopped, stood frozen, like puppets whose strings had been cut. Amelia pulled free from the now motionless hands and ran to James. He was shaken but alive. "Is it over?" he asked. Before Amelia could answer, her phone buzzed. A text from Claire. "Bathroom mirror destroyed. We did it. 7 mirrors, all destroyed. The pattern broken completely." Through the window, Amelia could see the moon emerging from shadow, bright and normal and real. The eclipse was ending. The director of the thing, wearing his face, looked at Amelia with eyes that were slowly changing. Empty flatness, giving way to confusion, to fear, to something that might have been the real director trying to resurface. What happened?" he asked in his own voice. "Where am I? What did I do?" "You were replaced," Amelia said. "But I think you're coming back." All around the hospital, people were waking up. The replaced becoming themselves again. The reflections that had stolen their identities dissolving as the boundary closed. It was over. Epilogue. 3 weeks later, Amelia sat in her office, a different office now, with no mirrors, reviewing her final report on what the media had called the Ashwood incident. The official explanation was mass psychogenic illness, triggered by an environmental contaminant that had since been removed. Most of the patients and staff had no memory of their time being replaced. They'd experienced it as a kind of fugue state, present but not conscious, watching their bodies move and act without control. The hospital had been closed for investigation. The director had resigned. 7 people, the ones who'd been most fully replaced, including the patients Sarah and Michael, remained in catatonic states, possibly brain damaged by the experience. Or possibly still partially on the other side, Amelia thought, still connected to that collapsing world, unable to fully return. Claire had been released after a week of observation. Her delusion had been reclassified as a stress reaction, and she'd been sent home with therapy referrals and medication she probably wouldn't take. Before leaving, she'd stopped by Amelia's temporary office. "Thank you," Claire had said, "for believing me, for helping." "I should thank you," Amelia had replied. "You saved all of us. My sister saved us. Her research, her warning. I just followed the map she left behind. Will you be okay, out there alone?" Claire had smiled. "I'm covering all my mirrors with sheets, not taking any chances. But yes, I think I'll be okay, as long as I don't look too closely at my own reflection." Now, Amelia finished her report and closed the laptop. Outside, evening was falling. The new office had a window, but Amelia had positioned her desk so she wouldn't see her reflection in the glass, just in case. Her phone buzzed. A text from James. "Drinks tonight. We survived an interdimensional invasion that deserves celebration." Amelia smiled and texted back, "Sure, but let's avoid anywhere with too many mirrors." She stood and gathered her things. On her way out, she paused at the door and glanced back at her desk. The laptop screen was dark, reflective, and in that darkness, she could just barely make out a shape that might have been her reflection, watching, always watching. Amelia turned off the laptop, grabbed her coat, and left. Behind her, the screen flickered once, briefly, showing an image that wasn't quite a reflection anymore. But by then, Amelia was gone, and the office was empty, and whatever still lived in the spaces between light and glass had no one to watch. For now, they say mirrors show the truth. But what if the truth is that we're not alone when we look at our reflections? What if something looks back, learning us, copying us? waiting for the right moment to step through and take our place. The boundary between worlds is thinner than you think, and mirrors are windows, not walls. So the next time you look at your reflection, pay attention. Notice if it moves exactly when you move. Notice if the smile is just a fraction of a second delayed. Notice if the eyes watching you from the glass are truly your own. Because somewhere, in the spaces between here and there, something is still waiting, still patient, still preparing for the next eclipse, the next opening, the next chance to cross over. And when it does, will you notice, or will you have already been replaced? Sleep well, but maybe cover your mirrors tonight, just in case.
If this story stayed with you, you're always welcome here. Subscribe to the channel and join us for more stories like this. Quiet, mysterious, and meant to be heard. Until next time.